What's good, everybody? The last fight from episode 8 of Road to the Title Season 3 is the Isaac Guenther versus William Shockey fight. This was the last fight of the lightweight tournament, or the second round at least. And it was also the quickest fight, and it ended up ending in a DQ, which is never what you want to see. It's definitely unfortunate, but there was still some stuff to take away from it. So we'll start with William Shockey. So in the first round, he got a vicious KO. He took on an MMA fighter. I think his name was, it might have been Yair. I forget. But his opponent was an MMA fighter who basically openly said that the only reason that he was doing power slap is to try and get into the UFC, which is never what you want. You never want to hear that because it just doesn't work. And he ended up cutting like something crazy, like 20 pounds of weight in like however many days, which is a horrible idea. Don't ever do that. So there was still a lot of questions coming into the second round from Shockey, although he did get a great knockout and he proved that he had power. But he was actually, I think he was the only one that moved on that didn't have to take a slap. So yeah, there was still, he was like the most unknown out of everybody. Isaac in the first round, he went 3 rounds with Riley in a great fight. It was back and forth, super close, and Isaac looked really good. But yeah, anyway, so Isaac won the toss and he was slapping first, and bro, he put a big slap on Shockey, man. A big slap. It was right on the button. And lately, I've been doing my own thing where like I'll screen record the knockout and then I'll slow it down in the program that I use to make like memes and shit. And I'll slow it down and I'll be able to like frame by frame and see exactly where it lands, even if power slap like doesn't give me the angle. So yeah, I did that with this and it landed right on the button, man. Right on the button. In my breakdown of his first fight against Riley, I was saying that he was consistently missing high every slap, but he was still rocking him. Like really, really noticeable rocking him, even missing high. So we knew this kid had power. And I even said, I was like, if this kid can aim lower, I bet you he can put somebody out. And yeah, that take is aging well. It really is. He landed right on the button again. And it was kind of like a delayed reaction from Shockey almost. Did anybody notice that? It was like, it almost looked like he was going to be able to take the slap. And then it was just like lights off, like that quick. It like looked like he was going to be okay. And then all of a sudden he's falling back. It wasn't like the Riley one where like as soon as Dakota's hand like went to the next frame after contact, he was out. It wasn't like that. It knocked Shockey down. And Shockey, I was impressed with Shockey's ability to, and he got up to his feet by 8 somehow, because he was absolutely rocked. And we didn't even know how rocked he truly was until after when he was talking to the ref. But anyway, he got knocked down and it didn't look good, man. He was on his back with his hands behind his back on the foam, which is just an extra, like, that's just extra work if you're rocked. Like, not only do you have to first get your hands out from behind your back. That's a disadvantage when you land like that. And then was able to roll over, which is the first step. Anytime, like, how do you get up when you're rocked? Number 1, roll over onto your stomach. Try to get onto like one knee as a base and then work your way back up. So I was really impressed by Shockey that he was even able to do that and get up before the 10 count. Now, this was the right stoppage. This was an excellent stoppage. He was still wobbly. So he would have needed much more time to recover from that. It was the right stoppage, but the fact that he was even able to go from where he was on his back with the look on his face and his hands behind his back to end up vertical in front of the ref before the 10 count, don't get it twisted. That was very impressive by Shockey. All right, so let's talk about the step. So on the same frame that I used to pause it on contact to see where the hand landed on the face, it also gives a good view of the step. And I want to break this down. So I looked at the step And there's been some confusion on the rules, and I don't think that it was the heel lift necessarily that was why they called the step on this. If you look, he lifted his heel, which I probably think they could have let slide if he didn't turn his foot. So it's really the rotation of the foot that ends up getting you pinned with the step. Again, minor heel lifts are allowed. It wasn't like crazy. Like I've seen some crazy steps where dudes' toes are on the ground and their foot are like vertical. Like go back and watch, like Russell Rivero had one of the worst steps of all time. I forget what fight it was, but yeah. So it really wasn't the heel lift. All right. I don't want to say this like I'm sure. This is my opinion. I didn't talk to the refs. I didn't talk to anybody. This is strictly my opinion. I don't think it was the heel lift that got it called. I think it was the fact that his foot turned off the vertical plane. So if you picture 2 feet parallel straight, if your right foot, well, not only did his right foot go up, his left foot also went up on the windup, which according to the rules now is allowed because his left foot didn't turn at all. It just went up off the ground. So although it did, his left foot also went up off the ground during the windup. It didn't actually rotate, and his right foot goes up more than his left. But you'll see that if you look really closely, his foot ends up pointed a little bit in, and you can't do that. That's a step. There's no rotation allowed. Like you cannot rotate. So I think that that's ultimately why it was called. It's still such a subjective, like somehow it shouldn't be subjective. Like it's always a club and a step is always going to be subjective, but it shouldn't be this subjective. Like sometimes it really comes down to who's judging, essentially, who's on the monitor making the final call. So yeah, I mean, I think it was the right call. I think that it was more of the rotation of the foot than it was picking it up off the ground that ultimately got it called. Oh, and one thing I noticed when Shockey was recovering and got back up to his feet, again, we didn't really like we could tell that he was rocked, but then again, he got up to his feet before the 10 count. So we were like, maybe he's okay. And then he was super wobbly, but we didn't really truly know how he was rocked until he like spoke. Did anybody hear this? I'm pretty sure he said first hitter, like to the ref, like, oh, first hitter, like first hitter quitter. Like, I don't even know what that meant. I think he meant like first hitter quitter type shit. But I'm not 100% sure what he said. If anybody knows, let me know. And then I'm pretty sure he also said, baby, no. I was dying laughing, man. Like you never like to laugh. I wasn't like laughing at him in that way. It was just more funny. It was kind of like when you wake up from a dream, almost like you say some weird shit because you're like still not all the way there. Like it was kind of like that. Which, I mean, dude, it's funny. Like this is what we sign up for. This is Power Slap. He's fine. But yeah, I thought that was fucking hilarious. And then, yeah, so moving forward, I think that, I mean, there's no way, I mean, Shockey technically won, so Shockey's technically 2-0, so he's definitely getting signed to Power Slap, definitely. And Isaac, so that would make him 1-1. He's definitely getting signed to Power Slap, definitely. I think all of these, I think every lightweight, and then I think if you're Power Slap, I would even still love to see Ivan fight again. I think that if you're Power Slap, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up signing Ivan too. Who knows? Like, I want them to like put out some rankings or something. Now that the season's over, you know, you can technically rank them going into the 3rd round, if you wanted to. And then also, dude, I think I saw the preview of the Klingbeil fight, and it looked like he was fighting Luke. Dude, sign me the fuck up for that. Klingbeil, it's super smart from him to get on the show, in my opinion, and he's doing this purposely. There's a difference between going on the show because you need to and going on the show because it's strategic and you want to. And so we're seeing that between two people. So Darius is coming on the don't get it twisted. Darius is coming on the show because he has to. I mean, I'm pretty sure he hasn't even won a fight in Power Slap. I think he's like 0-3. He went from like the number 1 contender to number 10. In his, like, he might, I don't know what the updated rankings are, but he's down there, man. He is not up there in the heavyweight rankings, and so he needs a performance, man. And so he has to be on the show. So there's just a clear difference. Darius has to be on the show, and Klingbeil doesn't. He's on the show because he's smart and he sees the opportunity. Just like I said, if you're not like number 5 or up which Klingbeil I think is number 5. So he's right on that borderline. I'm saying that you should try to get on the reality show every season. It's not guaranteed that you're going to get fights out here, man. Especially with these lightweights coming in, these kids are going to start popping up on every card that you see, man. And so it's just getting harder and harder to get fights as, you know, the roster expands. And so, like, you're not guaranteed fights. And if you know you're guaranteed 1 or 2 fights by going on the reality show, if you win, obviously, then, dude, it's so smart. And that's probably a pretty good matchup, too, on the show. Like, I mean, Luke looked really good. But as far as Klingbeil goes, like, it really is a good matchup. You know, fighting someone that's, you know, less experienced. And I'm pretty sure I saw in an interview that, like, maybe he was promised a title shot if he goes on and wins or something like that. There's definitely a reason. I think that they definitely gave Klingbeil, like, a sweetener to go on the show. But again, he didn't have to, man. And I just think it was so smart. So that's what I got. And we'll catch you on the next one.